Today we'll start current electricity. So what do you mean by electricity? So it is a branch of physics which deals with charges in motion. It is a branch of physics which deals with charges in motion. So earlier we have studied electrostatics. So electrostatics is a branch which deals with charges at rest. If charge is in motion, then that study we call it as electricity. So now, first we'll see few definitions. So first, what do you mean by current? What do you mean by current? So now, current is nothing but the rate of flow of charges through a conductor. So it is rate of flow of charges through a conductor, or you can say charge divided by time. Charge divided by time. So rate of flow of charges is called current. So whenever we say there is a rate, then always you will have time in the denominator. So I is equal to Q by T. Q by T. So current is measured in ampere. SI unit is ampere and is denoted by capital A. It is denoted by capital A. And it is a scalar quantity. It is a scalar quantity. So the rate of flow of charges through a conductor is called current. Now, what do you mean by ampere? So how do you define ampere? Now, definition of ampere, if I take ampere. In this formula, if Q is equal to 1 coulomb, T is equal to 1 second, then current I is equal to 1 ampere. If Q is equal to 1 coulomb, T is equal to 1 second, then you will have I is equal to 1 ampere. So 1 divided by 1 will be 1. So you will get current is equal to 1 ampere. So ampere is defined as current when rate of flow of charge through a conductor is 1 unit. Or you can say, if 1 coulomb of charge move across a conductor in 1 second, then current is said to be 1 ampere. If 1 coulomb of charge move across a conductor in 1 second, then current is said to be 1 ampere. Clear, students? Or even you can define in this form. In electrostatics you have studied 1 coulomb is equal to 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. So 1 coulomb is equal to 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. 18 electrons. So instead of 1 coulomb, you can say it in terms of electrons. So you can define ampere as if 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons drift across a conductor in 1 second, then current is said to be 1 ampere. If 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons drift across a conductor in 1 second, then current is said to be 1 ampere. Current is said to be 1 ampere. Clear, students? Now, current direction always we take from higher potential to lower potential. So, suppose there are 2 points or ends of a conductor. This is positive terminal, this is negative terminal. Or you can say it is at higher potential while this is at lower potential. Then always we take flow of current from higher potential to lower potential. So direction of current is always taken from positive to negative. So clear students, this is basic. That is, first one is current is nothing but rate of flow of charge through a conductor, or simple I is equal to Q by T. Then definition of ampere. If Q is equal to 1, T is equal to 1, then current is 1 ampere. Or instead of 1 coulomb, you can explain it in terms of 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electrons. Then current direction is always taken from higher potential to lower potential. Now we will see important concept, that is Ohm's law, which basic you have studied in your class 10. So Ohm's law. Ohm's law. So what does Ohm's law state? Then a definition of resistance, then specific resistance we will be seeing. Now suppose there is a conductor. So there is a conductor maintained at a potential difference of V. So potential difference across this conductor is V. So this is at higher potential, this end is at lower potential. Current is flowing from higher potential to lower potential. Current is moving from higher potential to lower potential. So Ohm's law states that current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference between its ends. So that is, I is directly proportional to V, but while writing we write it as V is directly proportional to I. Current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference. That is, if potential difference is more current will flow. Potential difference is less current will flow. Provided temperature and physical condition remains constant. That is, temperature remains constant and physical conditions does not change. Physical conditions does not change. So throughout this length, temperature has to be same. There should not be variation in temperature. Physical condition should remain same, means this wire or conductor should be of a single material. You can't have half of copper, half of aluminum, remaining some part as steel, etc. It should be of uniform material. Second, cross sectional area has to be same. You can't have wire in this form. In this form you can't have wire, so you cannot apply Ohm's law over here. So physical condition, its dimension has to remain same. So Ohm's law states that current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference between its ends, provided temperature and physical conditions does not change, or temperature and physical conditions remain constant. Now if I remove this proportional sign, we put a constant R, where R is called resistance. Where R is called resistance. Where R is resistance. Where R is a resistance of the conductor. So now resistance means it is opposition to the flow of current. It is opposition offered to the flow of current. Or from this formula you can say R is equal to V by I. R is equal to V by I. So it is nothing but a ratio of potential difference between two ends and current flowing through it, you can say. It is a ratio of potential difference between two ends of a conductor and current flowing through it, that is R. SI unit of resistance is ohm, and symbolically it is denoted in this form, and it is even pronounced as ohm. Even it is pronounced as ohm. Clear, students? So first, if you take statement of Ohm's law, current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference between its ends, provided temperature and physical condition remains constant. So V is equal to IR. This is equation of Ohm's law. R is called resistance. It is nothing but opposition to the flow of current through a conductor, or you can define it as a ratio of potential difference between ends of a conductor to the current flowing through it. To the current flowing through it. So now, if you draw a graph of V with respect to I. So now if you see this equation, R is constant, so power of V is 1, power of I is also 1, so you will have a linear equation. So graphical representation of Ohm's law you will have in this form, V, I, so you will have graphical representation of Ohm's law. So potential with respect to current, or here you can take voltage along x-axis and current along the y-axis. If you go on changing the voltage, current also goes on changing, V against I. So graph for Ohm's law you will be having. Now, how do you define Ohm? So definition of Ohm. Again we will be taking this formula, V is equal to IR. If, or you can say this one, if V is equal to 1 volt, potential difference is 1 volt, current I is equal to 1 ampere, I is equal to 1 ampere, V is 1, I is 1, then R is equal to 1 ohm, then R is equal to 1 ohm, 1 ohm. So ohm is resistance offered by a conductor for flow of 1 ampere of current maintained at a potential difference of 1 volt. Clear, students? It is resistance offered by a conductor to the flow of 1 ampere of current through a conductor maintained at a potential difference of 1 volt. So suppose if potential difference is 1 volt, 1 ampere of current is flowing from this end to this end, then resistance is said to be 1 ohm. Clear? Okay. Now, if we see what are the limitations of Ohm's law. So limitations of Ohm's law. Limitations of Ohm's law means disadvantage or drawbacks, you may say. Limitations of Ohm's law. First one, it is applicable only to ohmic devices, or you can say metal conductors. Metal conductors. So it is applicable only to ohmic devices. Ohmic devices means device which obeys Ohm's law. So now presently you can remember just any metal conductor, if you take aluminium, copper, etc. There for those you can apply Ohm's law. Later you will be having meter bridge, potentiometer, etc. So for which all you can apply Ohm's law, those are called ohmic devices. Second, you cannot apply Ohm's law for non-ohmic devices. Non-ohmic devices. You cannot apply Ohm's law for non-ohmic devices. So non-ohmic devices means you can say semiconductors, diodes, electrolyte, etc. So for these, this formula cannot be applied. So this formula fails over there. So devices which does not obey Ohm's law, are called non-ohmic devices. Third, so in definition we are having, in definition what it says, temperature has to remain constant. So Ohm's law cannot be applied at very low and very high temperature. So Ohm's law cannot be applied at very low and very high temperature. Then fourth, if I take fourth one, same again from definition, physical condition has to remain same. So fourth one, physical condition should not change. Physical condition must be same or should not change. So these are the limitations of Ohm's law. Clear, students? So first, Ohm's law, current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference between its ends, provided temperature and physical conditions remain constant. So formula is V is equal to IR, where R is called resistance and SI unit of resistance is ohm. Resistance is nothing but ratio of potential difference between ends of conductor to the current flowing through the conductor. So how do you define ohm? It is resistance offered to the flow of current of 1 ampere through a conductor having a potential difference of 1 volt. So graphical representation of Ohm's law. What are limitations of Ohm's law? First one, it is applicable only to ohmic devices. It is not applicable to non-ohmic devices. Third, it cannot be applied at very low and very high temperature. Fourth, physical condition has to remain constant. Clear, students? You can pause and note on the points. Now, if I take another concept, that is specific resistance. Or we call it as resistivity, or even it is called as resistivity. So now, resistance of a conductor mainly depends on 3 factors or 3 points mainly. So any conductor, if you take resistance of conductor depends on mainly 3 factors. First one is nature of material. It depends upon nature of conductor. So what conductor you are using, whether it is a copper, aluminum, steel, which metal you are using, it depends upon the nature. So that we can't measure. So as good as we say quality, it depends upon nature. Second, resistance depends upon length of conductor. It depends upon length of conductor. Now suppose if the length of wire is more, now this is one wire, I will take A to B, I will take another wire C to D. So current is flowing from left to right, direction of current is from left to right in both cases. So current is there means it is nothing but charges are moving. You may think it as electrons. So charges are moving from this end to this end. If length is more, then there will be more obstruction due to different electrons and ions in that atom. So if length is more, there will be more obstruction, means resistance will be more. So resistance increases if length increases. So R is proportional to L. If length is more, resistance is more. Now suppose in classroom you are sitting. If class is of bigger length, so student from the last row, it takes more time to come, because if class is left, while coming forward there will be more obstructions for him due to different benches, friends, etc. So if length is more, time taken is more, so there will be more obstruction along the path, so resistance increases. Third, it depends upon cross-sectional area. It depends upon cross-sectional area. Now again, if I take, suppose this is wire A to B, another wire of same length I will take, C to D. Now here current flow is there, or charges are moving. When charge is moving, if area is more, it can easily pass through it. Because space available is more, it can easily pass through this area. Means there will be less resistance. So as area increases, resistance decreases. So you can say resistance is inversely proportional to area. So it depends upon these main three factors: nature, length, area. Resistance is directly proportional to length, and resistance is inversely proportional to cross-sectional area. So if I combine these, I will have R is directly proportional to L by A. R is directly proportional to L by A. If I remove this proportional sign, proportionality if I remove, I will have R is equal to rho L by A. I will have R is equal to rho L by A. Where this rho is called specific resistance or resistivity. Where rho is called specific resistance or resistivity. R is equal to rho L by A. Clear, students? This formula is again important. This formula is important. So now, how do you define specific resistance or resistivity? So how do you define specific resistance or resistivity? Now I will take this formula, R is equal to rho L by A. Here, if L is equal to 1 meter, A is equal to 1 meter square. L is equal to 1 meter, A is equal to 1 meter square. This is 1, this is 1. Then you will have R is equal to rho. R is equal to rho. So resistivity or specific resistance is defined as resistance offered by a conductor of 1 meter length having cross-sectional area 1 meter square. It is resistance offered by conductor of 1 meter length and 1 meter square cross-sectional area. That we call it as a specific resistance. Clear, students? So if I take SI unit of specific resistance, SI unit. Now from this formula, if you take rho is equal to RA by L. So rho is equal to R into A by L. If I substitute units, this is ohm, meter square, meter. So 1 meter gets cancelled. So SI unit is ohm meter. So SI unit of specific resistance is ohm meter. Clear, students? So first resistance of a conductor depends on nature of material, length of the conductor and cross sectional of the conductor, cross sectional area of the conductor. So you can say R is proportional to L by A, or R is equal to rho L by A, where rho is called specific resistance, or even it is called resistivity or resistivity or resistivity. So how do you define specific resistance? It is resistance offered by a conductor of length 1 meter and having cross sectional area 1 meter square. SI unit is ohm meter. Clear, students? Okay. In next session, we will see some important derivations based on Ohm's law. Okay. Thank you, students.